Right, hi everyone. I was tagged in a Show Us Your Steak challenge by Dragon Outdoors. So thank you very much, Jamie, for the tag. It was started off to raise awareness for men's mental health. But I've seen a number of people actually making it a unisex thing, because obviously women suffer with mental health as well. So the most important thing is to say in this video, and if it's the only thing you hear in this video, then that's okay. But it's okay not to be okay. I'll say that again. It's okay not to be okay. Now then, I'm quite fortunate, although I've had a really tough life. I've come through it, thanks to a lot of love and support I had from a lot of people where in the council estate I grew up on, in Llansamlet in Swansea. A lot of great friends. I met my wife when I was like 18. We've been together ever since, and that's been great. But everybody would like to have more money, of course they do, but there's not a lot of, I don't have a lot of problems in my life. I don't suffer with mental illness or any situation like that. I'm quite fortunate. But if you do suffer with mental illness, if you're male or female, then I suggest that you speak to people about it. Don't box it up. I think boxing it up and keeping it inside your head is the worst thing you can do, because the people that love you would like to help you. I appreciate that sometimes you might not think about speaking to people and people don't care, but people do care. And if you love them as much as they love you, then they'll want to help. But obviously, only go and trust and confide in the people that you love and the people think that you could trust with your life, and go and tell them people how you feel, because they can sit down with you and discuss things, and maybe if you wanted to go and see a doctor, or you wanted to do some therapy, then maybe that's an avenue to go down as well. So basically, I'm going to cook. I don't normally cook for my wife, so I'm going to hold my hands up. So I'm going to cook 2 ribeye steaks for us. I'm going to cook some mash, sweet corn. I'm going to fry some onions, fry some mushrooms, have some peppercorn sauce, because we both like peppercorn sauce, and have a nice meal after. So I'm just going to prepare these and cook them, and I'll talk possibly then about my life and what's happened to me, because people have been very open and honest when they've done these videos. So I think I'll be open and honest as to my life and what's happened in my life, and coming through the challenges I faced. It wasn't easy, but I think sometimes going through them tough challenges, they make you the man you are. So anyway, I'm going to crack on now, right? So I'm going to start preparing these steaks. These are the 2 ribeye steaks that my wife kindly bought from Asda. So all I'm going to do now is put some sea salt on the both of them. I'm not going to be shy with the sea salt. So that's one side. Okay, I'm going to put some, can't have too much sea salt, can you? I'm going to put some pepper on that, some ground pepper. I know the lighting is not very good, because the lighting's above me in the kitchen, so I apologise. And the other side. There we are. Right, I'm going to tap that in now. Okay, the back of my hand. My hands are clean, don't worry, I washed them before I started. And I'm going to turn that over now. Okay, turn that one over as well. Obviously the preparations of the meat, I'm washing my hands. Okay, get a tea towel. Right now, I'm going to do the same thing now to the other side. Okay, I'll leave it there for a minute. I'm going to put some sea salt on it. Quite a lot of sea salt. You can't be Can't have too much of that, can you? Here we are. I'll put that away now. Yeah. Bit of pepper. And the other side. The other one. Right there. So that's that done. Okay. So that's them out of the way. Tap that in now. Pack that in. So it sticks when we start to fry it. There we are. I wash my hands again. Excuse me. Right, okay now. So what I'm going to do now is turn on the stoves. And the stoves I've got are two Coleman Firepowers. You don't see them around now. The stove that came out a couple of years ago, I thought myself what a great bit of kit. Allegedly boils water in about 3 minutes. It's a 7,000 watt flame. So I'll turn that on. Ooh. Leave that settle down for a minute. I'll do the same with the other one. Kick that off. Easy, go boy. Right, okay. I'm going to put the extractor hood on now and cook that. Suck the heat out of the thing. I'm going to use this this jobby that I bought from China months ago. Oof, maybe the best part is beautiful perhaps. Hey, taxi! Right, okay now. Right, so that will go on there. Okay. Now then, what I'm going to do now is put a bit of oil, only a little bit of oil, in the pans. So I can't, because the steaks are, they're not massive, but I can't cook 2 steaks in one pan, just haven't got the room. So I'm going to bring, put that over there, don't need that now. So I'm going to bring these now up to heat. Okay, when they start to heat it a little bit, I'll then put the steaks on. Bring that across, That's going to be used to maybe make the peppercorn sauce or warm up the mash, or maybe both. Just out of curiosity, all the pans, they're all stainless steel. And I'm not knocking anybody that cooks on aluminium or alloy, but I've always cooked on stainless steel. It cleans better, I think it cooks better. So there we are, that's starting to warm now, so I'm going to put these in here. Turn that down. And I'm going to turn this one down. Find it. And I'm going to put that on there. Right there, so I'm going to leave that going out for about, I don't know, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I'll turn it over. Put them in the pan. I'll speak up a little bit now, because obviously we'll talk about me now and my life. I grew up in a council estate in Chartwell. The estate was a great place to be, full of tremendous people. And if I'm going to be bluntly honest, a lot of us didn't have a lot. You know, there were some people who had more than others, but everybody in the street would give their last to everybody else. It was a wonderful place to grow up. And we had a football pitch right next to us, and we could go down there as long as we see Mr. Simpson, and after the Simpson, can we go and play down the school? He'd say, yeah, go on, boys. Mr. Charles before Mr. Simpson. So he never stopped us going down as long as we asked him. Yeah. But growing up in Winchwen, we moved to Winchwen, and at 9, my mother and father split up. That was my father's fault. My father was a Royal Marine with 4-2 Commando, and sadly, I think when he came out the Marines, he came out the man different to when he went in. Quite sad, really. He hit the bottle really hard, and he turned to gambling. And a lot of people who used to live by me would say to me, well, you know, I'm a lot older now. He said, look, when your father went in the Marines, he was a great guy, but when he came out, he was a different man. And I don't know what my father did in the Marines. He never talked about it. I know he got shot in the Falls Road, County Down. There was a bullet that took a chunk out of his shin. Didn't hit him, you know, any serious area, but you know, that's one thing about him. And as years went by, I never had a mother. Lucky for my father that my grandmother and grandfather were my father's parents, because I loved them two people with everything I had. And it was lucky for my father that my grandparents were his parents, because if they were my mother's parents, I probably would have gone with my mother, because I don't blame her. I've got no bad feeling towards my mother at all. My mother disowned me about, I don't know, she disowned me about 2 or 3 years ago. Sent me a letter to say, look, you know, we haven't been in each other's lives for years, and I understand, and it's no big deal. You know, it's one of them things, life goes on. I didn't, what's the word? I didn't focus on it. I thought, well, okay, you know, I haven't been in my mother's life since I was 9. I met my family once, and it was okay, but it was a strange feeling, because, like, you're trying to pour love into something that there's very little love or feeling for, you know, and it's a tough one. And I found it a very awkward situation, but I still entered it. My wife came with me, and my daughters are only about, my twin daughters are about 2.5 and 3 years of age. And, you know, my sister Dawn, and my brother Adrian, and my half-sister Debbie, and their partners were wonderful people. And my mother was there, and the fella she married, Bill, lovely guy, I know, really nice guy. I've got nothing bad to say about him. He looked after my family, he looked after my sister, looked after my mother, my brother, you know, he looked after all the family, treated them as if he were his. And they understand that my brother and sister would call him Dad, because that's what I would do. You know, if someone brought me up, I would call them Dad. So anyway, when mother and father split up, you know, lucky for my father that I didn't want to go and live with my mother, because I loved my grandfather and grandparents a lot. And I think, obviously, living in a council estate in Transamlet where I grew up, there's a lot of wonderful people in that estate, and they were always there for me. And my grandfather sadly passed away. My grandmother passed away first, and then my grandfather passed away, and that, like, really rocked me, you know, it really shocked me. But the only thing that pulled me around was the love I had for sport, the love I had for football and rugby, cricket, skateboarding, mountain biking, BMXing, running, you know, so I didn't have a lot of time really to focus on the negative impact that it had in my life, because like, one minute you'd be sad, and the next minute someone said, are you going to come play football right down to school? Ha! You'd be off like a shot. So, never really took much notice of it. I just thought it was the norm, and I didn't have a mother, and I kept on saying to my father, look, can you get a mother, you know, can you, because I was only like, I don't know, 12 to maybe 14, yeah, maybe 11, I don't know, but a time came where I stopped asking my father about finding a wife, because he just wasn't interested. I think one of the big ones in my life was when he won £1,000 in a top ranked bingo hall in Swansea. It's quite sad. He actually won £1,000 one night, and I was chuffed because all my mates, Phil Morgan, he's now living in Spain now with his lovely wife Tracy, and Pinto. Phil Morgan had a beautiful Suzuki Gitana, a beautiful motorbike. It's a 550cc machine. It was a gorgeous colour. It was a silver colour, and it had a big petrol tank on the front of the bike, and it had an orange seat, and it was a beautiful looking machine. And my mate Alan was on the Plough and Arrow. I haven't seen Alan for years. He had a Suzuki GXS, which is more of a tourer. Pinto had a Yamaha. It was either a 250 or 350 LC, and that was a really lovely bike as well. So I said to my dad, I said, Dad, all the boys have got bikes, and I have a bike. And at the time, I really liked the Suzuki 250 ER, which is a trials bike. I just liked the look of it, you know, big wheels, big forks. It was a beautiful looking bike. And at the time, JT Morgan, a bike place in Swansea, was doing this bike with something like £1,150 on the road with free tax, free insurance for a year. And I'm only like, I don't know, whatever I am, 18, whatever, 17, 18. So my man said, he came home and he said, oh yeah, we'll see. He said, you know, I thought, oh. So I told my mates, I said, boys, my father's going to buy me a bike. Buy me a bike. Jesus Christ. I saw my man that night, okay, and then for the next couple of days, my man went absent without leave. Now then, I was living by myself in a 2-bedroom house in Llansamlet. This house, it had, what's getting that, isn't it? Like that. This house had no central heating, sadly. Take that off there. This house had no central heating. We had no coal in the coal house. And it was a damn shame, because like I was freezing my butt off. My man would go out and spend money as if it was like nothing to him. And anyway, when he told me that on a Friday night, yeah, no problem, we'll see. He never said he would, but I was hoping that he would, right? Because that's what I do, and my wife have done for our children. If they want something, we've just gone and got it for them. So basically, what happened with the old man? He turned round and he went out, and I didn't see him for 3 days. He came back. I'd say he came back about on a Tuesday. Now I didn't ring the police, right? Because my man, being ex-military, he ain't dull. You know, my man's a survivor. You know, he did it for a living in the Marines. So I didn't think nothing of it. So basically, I let it go. He comes home on a Tuesday. I said, well, yeah, have you been? You know, I've been worried about you, like. Oh, he said, I've had some really bad luck. I thought, oh, here we go. I said, what's the bad luck then? He said, oh, I wouldn't believe it, he said. I lost all the money. I'm thinking he's pulling my leg. He said, no, Dad, you know, must be some kind of joke, like. He said, no, I lost all the money, he said. Horses didn't go my way, and he went to the casino, and anyway, that £1,000 that I was going to spend on a motorbike, he didn't have it. So I then had to go back then to my mates and say, oh, boys, you know, I'm gutted and I won't be getting a bike. And I think they was just as gutted as me. So from there, my old man hadn't paid maintenance on my brother and sister for bloody years. I mean years. and they finally caught up with him. And I'm putting some Welsh butter in here now to cook some mushrooms, to fry some mushrooms. Anyway, the courts actually caught up with my father. It wasn't, the CSA wasn't about then. But just focus on this for a minute. He was actually caught, and he owed something like about, oh God, about 12 years of arrears, because obviously we were a split up family, and see, men can't multitask, can it? We were obviously, our family split up, and you know, my brother and sister went to live with my mother in Cardiff, and I stayed with my grandparents in Llansamlet, in Chatlam. Sorry. So, you know, my father owed money to my mother, and it was a couple of £1,000. And when he went to court, the judge said, well, Mr. Rees, I think it's a disgrace that you haven't paid for your brother and sister, for my brother and sister, his son and daughter, maintenance. And it had gone on for years. God, I don't know, loads of years. Anyway, he owed thousands, so they give my man the option, either paying it off or going to serve some time in Swansea prison. Now, lucky for him, because he wasn't classed as a serious criminal, and because of his record in the Royal Marines, the judge was light on him, and I think he served something like about 3 months. I think he had 6, but he served 3. So anyway, this time now, I've got nowhere to live, because I was living with my uncle, with my father. That weekend, my uncle decided, I went to play football with my mates. I came back, there's a black bag by the back door. And I said to my neighbour, Mrs. Tracida, I said, what's happened? You know, Uncle Tom's gone to the old people's homes in Winchwen. I said, oh, that's good of him, right, okay. I said, I haven't got a key to get in. She said, no, the house is locked. So this is quite funny, this is. So I then said to Mrs. Tracida, can I please borrow a screwdriver? So, lovely lady she was, quite an old lady. She lent me a screwdriver. Now then, anybody knows that the council houses in Trasham and Samlet knows that basically they're not very strong, right, okay? Anybody can break into them, they're made of steel, and if you get a strong screwdriver and you force it open, then they'll just pop, the windows will pop. So anyway, I brought back into my house, and well, it wasn't my house now legally because it had gone. So I brought back into my house, and 10 minutes later there's a big knock on the door, and there's this big sergeant. He said, are you Stephen Rees? I said, yeah, I am. I said, yeah, I am. He said, have you just broke back in? I said, well, I didn't break back in. He said, it's my uncle's house. But I said to him that, you know, I got nowhere to live. You know, tonight I got nowhere to sleep. Like, I had nothing there. There was nothing in there. There was no cooker, no washing machine, no bed in bed, nothing. So I just dossed down there for the night. Copper said, oh, listen, he said, come and see me Monday at the station, and we'll see if we can try and sort something out. So there's me thinking, hey, this sounds good, doesn't it? So I went to see this copper down at Swansea Central, which is by High Street then, opposite the station. Taking this off here, sorry. So I went to see him by the train station. He said, oh, will do, son? I said, oh, I think at the time I was just under 18. I wasn't enough to legally be a tenant on a council house. So he said, oh, I'm sorry, son. He said, you can't live in the house now because you're not 18. So you'll have to find accommodation. So that wasn't such a big thing. I had 1 or 2 people who I could rely on, and I used to go to the youth club in Llansamlet. I never drank, I never did the town, I never did the circuit on the town. I couldn't be bothered. So, Guy Watkins, who was in charge then, a leader, he said to me, I'll try and get you digs in Llansamlet. So I thought, oh, that's awesome. So he got me digs in Llansamlet with an elderly couple. They were lovely people. Vera and Bill. I still remember the names, lot. And I was about, Jesus Christ, how old was I then? 18? Maybe 9? No, just under 18, I think, yeah. So anyway, 3 months past now, my man comes out of prison. So I meet my old man at the gates of Swansea prison, and we go for the meal in the Union Cafe, which if you know Swansea, you know where the Union Cafe is. So, turn this off, excuse me, I didn't need it after all. So, I said to my man, I said, okay then, I said, come on, I said, I'll take you for a meal. So we had a meal in the Union Cafe, and then we said, well, you know, where are we going to go? So, I said to Phil and Vera, look, can my father live here? Because he just come out of prison for non-payment of arrears, because they didn't want to really have a jailbird in their house, but he wasn't a bad person. It was just that he wasn't a serious criminal, if that makes sense. He just didn't pay dues to my brother and sister. So she said, yes, give it a try, I'll see how he is. And anyway, he hit it off like an house on fire. My man and this old woman used to dance, and Bill, he danced with them as well, and it was quite good, you know, it was alright, like. But over about 2 or 3 months into that, sadly, my old man was drinking and he got a bit stupid, and when my old man drunk, he became a bit of a challenge, is that the right word? So, you know, unfortunately, she said, oh, listen, Stephen, you and your father are going to have to move out. Well, I'm devastated because my man's been in prison about 2 weeks. And she's saying to me, oh, look, we've got to move, we've got to, you know. And I'm just gutted. So anyway, I said, okay, listen, thanks. So we're now back in the streets now. You know, I didn't know what to do, what the hell, you know, just totally gutted. So anyway, we found this bed and breakfast hotel. Well, I can't call it an hotel. It was 37 Carlton Terrace. I went to see it. I think my man went to the pub. I went to see it. And the guy who owned it said, I've only got one place, he said. I said, all right, okay. It's the top of the stairs. Okay. So we went upstairs, and well, I can only describe it as the worst room I've ever been in my life. When I got there, surprising to see, it had 3 buckets on the floor. I thought to myself, what are 3 buckets on the floor for? So I thought, well, I'll ask him, you know what I mean? I said, can I ask a question, mate? I said, what's the buckets for on the floor? He said, oh, when it rains, he said, the roof leaks. I thought he must be joking, you know, he charged me 25 quid for this room a week and the roof leaks. So anyway, the mattress was stinking, dirty, but we had nowhere to go. So I said to my man, when he saw me later in town, he said, listen, it's the only place you're going to get that, so we'll have to like, keep it, and know we'll have to stay there. Anyway, over a period of time, the old man, I won't mention names now here because I don't want to get this person in trouble. But anyway, the old man fell for this person's wife, right? Because the person who was her husband didn't really treat her well, if I'm going to be honest. And they hit it off. So this person came from a certain Welsh village, and they decided to go back there, right? But that's great for them. But I'm thinking, well, what about me? You know, what's that? And I am like 17 and a half, 18. I am a young man, and I think, okay. So I stuck my name down on the council house register. Lucky enough, I had a call of a council one morning, and they said, would you like a 1-bedroom flat in Trallwng? Now then, I'm a Trallwng boy. I've lived in Trallwng all my life, and I love the place. Now, I know people say, God, what a terrible place. But if you brought up in an area, you really love that area. You can't, you know, it's in your blood. And I understand people saying, oh my God, I can never live there. And I understand that. But for me, I love the place. So my man was away with this woman in a Welsh valley village, because that's where this woman came from, and she had 3 children. I won't mention their names. They're lovely people, lovely girls, very clever, very intelligent, doing really well. So my old man was sorted then, and then I met Claire, and then my life went from there. I did forget to say that when I was younger, I went to play football when I was about, I don't know, just after my grandfather died, and my grandmother died first, then my grandfather died. I come back from playing football one day, and there's two bailiffs, and these bailiffs are emptying my house, putting furniture in the garden, and the furniture wasn't good anyway. It was old furniture, it wasn't like state-of-the-art furniture. So I said, boys, what are you doing? He said, oh, we bailiffs. I said, yeah, okay, what are you doing? 'Cause I didn't know what a bailiff was. I'm too naive, and I never needed to know what a bailiff was. He said, oh, your father hasn't paid rent. I said, well, how much is it? I think I had about like 15, 20 quid to me, I think. And I think at the time rent was something like about 25, 30 quid a week, maybe not that much. So he said, it's like about £2,000. I thought myself, oh, Jesus Christ. So anyway, we didn't have anywhere to live then, and that was before my uncle took us in. And if I'm going to be honest, I try not to be disrespectful to people, but I'm not being funny, but my uncle, what an horrible get. One of the most horrible men you ever wish to meet in your life. Really sad. Moving on from there. I met Claire, and then we had a one-bedroom flat, which is a right dive when we moved there. I took Claire to see it. I was really excited, and Claire came along and said, oh my God, look at the state of this. And it was horrible. There's no ifs or buts. It was a really, really dirty place. But I just pictured it and said to Claire, well, look at it. What happens now if I do it all up and we plaster the fireplace wall, and we get a Cala gas fired in there, 'cause that's all we could afford. We couldn't afford anything else. There was no gas in this place. Suffered with a little bit of damp condensation. I said to Claire, I said, well, look, I'm going to build a breakfast bar in the kitchen. But anyway, when we finished, it was gorgeous. It was a beautiful place. But it was our place, me and Claire. And then we moved into a 3-bedroom house then. The children were born. Our 2 daughters were born. We moved into a house in Stratland. And then from there, then we went to buy our first house, which was up in the estate, not far from Asda. Nice place, lovely street, lovely people. And then I think from that point on, I never looked back. But even when times are rough, even when things weren't going right, I think what kept me together was the love and support I had from wonderful people. Like, I shouldn't maybe mention names, but I'm going to. There were people in my street, Dean and Darren's parents, Colin Dighton and his parents, and Colin and Andrew Dighton and their parents, Dean and Darren Rees and their parents, Paul Bell and his parents, Robert Joy and his parents, Robert Sanders and his parents, Paul Davis, Andrew Davis and their parents. And I never ever went, even if I was hungry and there was no food in my house, and I would never ever go there and say, excuse me, can I please have something to eat? Even if I was starving, I can't do that now, and I find it very hard to show emotion sometimes, and I don't know where that stems from. Maybe it's from the upbringing I've had, but I find it very hard. But when I look back at my life, I've had a pretty good life. Tough when I was a young man. Then obviously when I met Claire, then when I was like 18, everything like clicked into place, and Claire was great, came from a really, really good family and had really good family around her. Mum and Dad were wonderful, and her brothers were good people, and I hit it off with them. And then, you know, me and Claire got engaged after 7 years, and then we got married, and we've been together ever since. So that's basically it about my life, about, you know, what's happened to my life, what's happened with me. It's been tough, I won't lie, but, you know, it hasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It hasn't devastated me then, it hasn't, it's made me a better person for the struggles then. And like, if anybody's going through struggles, as I said earlier on, talk to people. People are out there and people do love you, okay? People are out there, people do love you. But just talk to people, tell people how you feel. And then that'll be a weight off your shoulders because you've gone and spoke to someone about how you feel. Excuse me. Oh. Right, so if I turn that off and off a minute, excuse me. Right then, so if you tell people how you feel, then that's a good thing. Okay? I'm going to put some of this on you now. You're going to make some peppercorn sauce now. So I've waffled on a little bit. Okay? I'm coming to the end now because this milk's going to go on there, or maybe I'll stick it in here. Yeah, maybe I'll stick it in there. If it starts to boil and overfills. Right, okay. So we're getting back to the point. If, you know, you feel that things aren't right, then you need to speak to people. Go and speak to people. You know, people that love you will want to help you. I have no doubt about that at all. And the worst thing is, and this is what would really do me in, if I ever committed suicide, I know, you know, no disrespect meant to anybody, but if I committed suicide, and I went to another place, whatever that place was, I think what would really hurt me is looking back and seeing the people that I have left behind there. Now that would really do me in. I couldn't handle seeing them heartbreak, you know, going through, you know, what I put them through. And I'm not knocking anybody for, you know, committing suicide. I'm not knocking them for that at all. But like all I can say is, you know, speak to people and trust in people, and the people that love you will be there for you. Okay, not everybody will be there, and some people might take the mick, but they don't understand. You know, they don't know what you've gone through. Hopefully, if they are loyal friends, I'll put that on there because it's a smaller one. It's a smaller. We'll bring that in. There we are. Right, I'll put that there. Excuse me. Yeah, but just talk to people. But anyway, I'm coming to the end now. I'm just finishing off the peppercorn sauce. So my wife and myself are going to have steak, fried onions, mushrooms in Welsh butter, have some pepper sauce. And I don't normally cook for my wife, so about time we did something, if I'm going to be honest. So that's it. So I hope I haven't bored you. And thank you to Jamie for the tag, Dragon Outdoors. When you go and check his channel, the Show Us Your Steak Challenge was originally started by a guy in the wild camping, bushcrafting community course, Hayes Outdoors. And it was his idea, so fair play to Hayes. And I think he tagged Dragon Outdoors. Hayes has got a wonderful channel, and so has Jamie. I can't believe Jamie hasn't got thousands and thousands of subscribers. Because Dragon Outdoors is a really active